Everybody, and welcome back to another.
That I am up to no good.
Are you holding a sonic screwdriver?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that a magic wand now?
Yeah, I guess it is.
It's pretty much that's what the modern series made it out to be. So
It's true.
yeah, it is.
Well, welcome back to another edition of the Northern Countdown, everybody. I'm none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by Ben and the boy who shades. How's everybody doing?
Magical.
I'm fine. I just came back from seeing Black Adam last night. I had a lot of fun there, and a wonderful, wondrous thing happened to me in the movie theater right before I watched the movie.
Free popcorn?
I wish. But no. I found my identical hand twin.
No, what? If you would that would have not been on my bingo card for what he would have said. What?
And nothing I say ever is. But okay, so long story short, back when I had my previous job, you know, the one I got fired from at the beginning.
Oh yeah. The one you tried to go no Marie at.
Yeah, there was this girl I used to work with, a female coworker, and just every time we high-fived, it was the perfect high five. Like, you know that high five moment between Schwarzenegger and the other guy with the big arm?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. It was that, but every time, like, our hands just clicked, and there was this shockwave of sound. I'm literally, people in the, we were high-fiving in the cafeteria. People just turned around and looked where the source of the noise came from, and obviously got fired. And I believe she left the job before I did, so we haven't seen each other in years. So as soon as and she's working at the movie theater now, apparently.
Oh.
So as soon as I saw her, obviously I had to get in shape. I undid my sleeve, and we did the perfect high five, and we haven't lost a step. So yeah. After years of losing my identical hand twin, I finally found her again.
Well, all in all, I'd say that's a victory.
I'm happy, man.
And it's a good thing it happened before the movie, then.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. That's awesome. I was like, where the hell's he going with this? Did he go to the bathroom and just randomly see his tan twin? Like, what?
No, because after the first time, it was like a general high five, like, hey, what's up? Because, you know, new work day, you got to say hi to everybody, you shake everybody's hands in the morning, you high five everybody, and it's like, whoa, what happened? Let's do that again. We did it a couple of times and noticed that our hands just click, and then we both said in unison, I found my identical hand twin.
That's awesome.
That's where that joke came from.
Oh yeah, friends.
Yeah, you don't need to criticize on that one. We know that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, Wizarding World. Right?
Sorry, what was that? 50?
So Wizarding World, right?
Yes. So yeah, our list has nothing to do with high fives. It is
man.
Top 5 Wizarding.
Our list might have something to do with actual identical twins.
Oh yeah. But the point of the list is the top 5 Wizarding World fights. So in this one, any part of the franchise is open. It could be from Fantastic Beasts, which actually I realized none of mine are, the movies or the books.
I actually have one of mine that's exclusively to the video games.
Cool.
And here's a fun trivia fact for you. Can you name the one spell that debuted exclusively on the video games and then was later added to the Grand Lore?
Actually, no, because I didn't know that was the thing.
There is one spell that debuted. It wasn't in the books, it wasn't in the movies. It debuted in the video games.
When you say video game, do you mean on computer game?
The Lego game.
No, any game.
Oh.
The tie-in game, because every Harry Potter movie had one.
I will get Nintendo. I will get Alhamora. No, Lumos.
Lumos? For shits and giggles, Expecto Patronum. I don't know.
Ben, you just shot yourself in the foot because it was Flipendo.
Oh, really?
Flipendo, the knockback Jinx, debuted in the first video game because they needed a spell to be like a neutral thing that
Nice.
doesn't do anything else. It's a knockback jinx. So they made up a spell, and then J.K. Rowling just added it to the rest of the lore. Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Well, that's pretty cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, I love the first two Harry Potter computer games. They were fun.
I don't remember them. I played them, but it's been so long. I don't remember.
You know, now that I'm realizing this, the only Harry Potter video game that I have not played is the Philosopher's Stone on console. Because I played the computer games for the first three. I played the console versions for the 2 and 3, and then from the fourth one onwards, they pretty much became the same game.
I didn't know they did ones for the other ones, and I've only played the first two.
Well, yeah, like I said, the first three, there's the two completely different games for the console version and the computer games. Fourth one onwards, literally the same game. And I played all of them except the first one's console game.
I want to play that computer game again. I don't have to figure out how to do the
You know which game I always wanted to have, but never had one. So I always had to play it at my friend's house, the Contrarian, the Quidditch game. I love the Quidditch game. So should we start?
Yeah, that's not. Kick this up.
Yeah, because I gotta work in about 40.
Harry Potter for days now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna kick this off. So while I was making my list last night, as you can use your imagination to assume what condition I was in. So when I wrote them down on my board, I wrote them down with funny titles. So let's see if you can guess what the titles are. Not all of them are gonna have it, but some will. So my number 5 is Draco versus Harry, the Wizard's Cut. That's what I named it.
And then the duel in Chamber of Secrets?
No, this is the one in Half-Blood Prince.
No. I was gonna say it. You didn't give me a chance to guess.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, 50.
It's the Sectum Sempra one because Wizard's Cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's the septum. That spell. Sorry. It's too early for me to talk. I'm going to go with the book one on this, just because while I think the movie one was pretty cool, in the book they actually added the fact that Harry was remorseful for what he did, and they completely cut that out of the book.
Oh, you mean out of the movie?
Sorry.
Yeah, I also prefer the book version, and my reasoning is if you actually read the book, Harry was obsessed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Throughout that entire book, he was legit it was an unhealthy obsession that he had with Malfoy. Yeah. In the movie, there's some stuff at the beginning with the train, and then by the time you get to the duel, there's such a long break of just Harry not even considering Draco that you forget that. Yeah. When that happened, every time I rewatch that movie, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. These guys hate each other for 5 movies, and now they're fighting. How could I forget that? So
it's my favorite book, my least favorite movie.
Well,
can I be honest with you guys? The changing to the movies never bothered me. They're still good movies to me.
Oh no, they still are. It's just there are some things from the books that example, like this aspect of like Harry feeling remorseful. Like, I mean, I would have kept that. Like, there are just some things I would have kept.
That's fair.
I still love the movies. I still watch them ad nauseum, but certain changes, and I'm gonna harp on this till the day I die. The hospital scene with Neville's parents.
Me too.
How do you cut that out of the movie?
Me too. 100%. That should have been in the movie.
And all the wizarding, not the wizard, the Ministry for Magic stuff in the 5th one, gone. All the different doors there. It's just they cut so much out of those movies. Like, what was it? Another one. The other tests that they needed to go through in the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, they cut out. Which one did they freaking cut out?
The potions.
The potions, yeah.
and the unconscious troll.
Yeah.
And the maze stuff, the Ludo Bagman stuff. There's so much stuff that they cut out.
Which I understand. I understand because you can only do so much in a movie, but they could have sacrificed some other stuff for sure.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do in a movie, but something like I said, there's some stuff that like you could have cut something else out instead you cut this thing out. So,
but you not fight back. You play devil's advocate. Let's say you never read the books and you only watch the movies. Are they still good movies as is?
100%. Like I told you, there's still good movies. You just miss out on so much stuff from those movies. Like
you only miss out on stuff if you know them from the books.
Right.
If you know.
But in the sense of the one that 59 think is like the biggest glaring omission, St. Mungo's Hospital in Order of the Phoenix, that is a big thing for Neville's character. That informs who he is going forward. That's one that I can understand. Like you can make arguments for other ones, but that one in particular, that should have been in there.
Okay.
And to go
the short movie, it should have been in there.
It is it's the shortest movie and it's the longest book.
Okay, that's fine.
That scene is just so heartbreaking. Spoilers for an old book at this point, but for those of you who don't know, when Harry and the Weasleys go visit Mr. Weasley in the hospital after he'd been attacked by Ginny, they find Neville visiting his parents in the hospital, who were put under one of the unforgivable curses by Bellatrix Lestrange in the old times, and they've been in the hospital ever since. So it's basically like going to see his parents in a mental hospital, and they don't even recognize him.
Oh.
It's a tough chapter, but it's a good chapter.
I re-listened to it recently, a few months ago, because I like to listen to books while I'm walking from one place to another. I was in a bus station and I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I already knew the scene was coming, I was in tears. And to bring it back to Half-Blood Prince, the whole point of Harry having private lessons with Dumbledore is so that he can learn about Voldemort, and they just cut all of it out. All the Voldemort character development. There's like 2 scenes where he's there.
Oh yeah. The way the book opens with the old lady, it's like, wow.
All right, we gotta get moving.
You have to work I gotta leave for work in like 35 minutes. Okay.
Okay, right.
50.
Speed this up, you mean. Okay, so staying on the worst movie in my opinion, The Order of the Phoenix, the fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore.
But
not on my list, unfortunately.
Damn it! All right, fine.
Now you know how I feel. All right, Ben.
Molly, this might count, might not. Molly was Bellatrix in the final fight.
Okay, so that's the one I said was in my honorable mentions. Because it's in my honorable mentions because it's part of a bigger fight.
Yeah,
But let's talk about it right now because it's got one of my favorite lines, the aliens line, the Ripley line, "Not my daughter, you bitch."
Oh. It is a great scene. It is a great scene. It's a great fight. You see the lion-minded mother go all lioness after her daughter to protect her. It is great. I love it so much.
Especially considering who she says it to, Bellatrix Lestrange, probably the most evil wizard outside of Voldemort.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to the Order of the Phoenix, there's a horrifying scene in the book where she has to try to get rid of a boggart, and the boggart changes its form into a dead Ron Weasley. She tries doing the ridiculous. It changes into a dead Mr. Weasley, then a dead Fred and George, then dead Harry, and she saw all of her family. She had nightmares about the people she loved dying, and she already lost a son earlier in the book and in the movie. So that's why that scene is so powerful for this character in particular.
And it comes around in this, my daughter, you bitch.
Right.
Yeah, which is a line that J.K. Rowling totally did not steal from Aliens, right?
You're right. Well, not 100%, but you're not wrong. This one got a woo for me in the theater, and I was the youngest person in the theater by like 30 years. I went in the middle of the afternoon on, I went in the middle of the afternoon on like a weekday to see this.
Right. All right. So now you're number 4.
So this is another humorous title, and it's from the same movie. It is Potterplicity.
It is Seven Harry movie.
Seven Harrys. So Multiplicity is a movie where
It's not the same movie, but okay.
No, but I mean Potterplicity, but
Oh, from the same movie as
same book, whatever. Same. Anywho, you know what I'm getting at. Yes, it is the seven Potters. Really, you could take either or in this. The only difference for me is that actually, I don't really think there's much of a difference. You see Hedwig dying. You pretty much hit all the big spots in both movie and book, so it could be either or. But this is just pretty cool, just especially in the movie because you're seeing like all these different versions of Harry in different dresses. It's so wild, but it's so good.
In the book, when they all change into Harry, do they dress the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like it was...
They brought it back with the identical clothes, but I'll say this: that in the book, when Harry and Hagrid are trying to get away, Mr. Weasley made some modifications to Hagrid's bike, which was usually owned by Sirius Black. Yeah, he just shoots a brick wall out of the exhaust port. He does all kinds of fun stuff with the bike, and in the movie, again, they glossed over that. Yeah. It's like, hey, we gotta help him. Nope, boom, and then just whoosh to the other side of the country.
I've actually got an idea for a supplement, just a video, something totally different that I want to bring up quickly when we're off there, because I don't want to take up too much more time on there.
But yeah, in the movie, and I'm glad did you went with the book version or the movie version? Because
it can be either. The movie version just looks and feels fantastic, and the book version just gives you anxiety while reading it.
All right, you're number 4, man, my man.
My number 4 is a duel that I love seeing. I don't like some of the things that happen in it, but it's McGonagall versus Snape in the movie.
Okay, quick question. I'm just trying to remember. Does this connect to when he reveals who he is to Harry?
No.
Okay, it's earlier, isn't it?
Earlier.
It's in the movie when he banishes him from the castle.
Right. It's been a bit. I was just because I've got another thing for Half-Blood Prince. I just wanted to see if they were attached, so I can say, it's an honorable mention. They're not.
It's not Half-Blood Prince. It's the Deathly Hallows.
Oh, that fight! Shit. Never mind.
McGonagall versus Snape in Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, sorry. I know the fight.
I don't think McGonagall and Snape were fighting in Half-Blood Prince when he was fleeing.
Brain fart. I'm sorry.
Yeah. A few months ago when we did that Wizarding World movie rankings, where the audience got everything completely wrong and we all got mad about it, Dave Lees pretty much summed up the whole McGonagall thing in a very fun way. He says it's like the first time we get to see Yoda fight.
Yeah.
It's McGonagall unleashed in that scene, and there's a thing that I both love and hate at the same time in that particular fight is that while Snape and McGonagall were dueling, there's that moment when the two Carrow siblings want to join in, and Snape just goes zip, zip, knocks them out because he's got to maintain his cover, but he doesn't want McGonagall to get hurt. So he knocks them out and then runs away so that it looks like he's still on Voldemort's side. But at the same time, the Carrows go out like bitches in that scene. And that bothers me, but whatever. It served its purpose.
Yeah. All right.
My number 4.
Yeah.
Is the African-American Fifth movie, the Order of the Phoenix versus the Death Eater.
Punt.
Wait, which one with the Death Eater with the in the Department of Mystery?
The big battle towards the end of the movie.
Punt.
Yeah, that's also a fun for me.
Okay.
So that's why I asked.
The next one, Harry v. Voldemort. Dawn of Muggles. It's the final Voldemort. Okay. Now this one is interesting because I love the film fight and I love the book fight just as equally. We'll get to it in a little bit, but there's one thing I kind of wish they'd kept. But anyway, okay, 50.
Then punted you. You're not allowed to keep rolling after a punt.
Sorry.
I mean, don't you know tackle ball rules?
No.
Tackle ball. What's that?
Football.
It's what Americans seem to think is called football. I call it tackle ball because that's what it is.
It hurts. Okay. 50. What's your next one?
What the hell was that?
Sorry, me.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
This is the most unique fight on my list. Probably going to end up being the most unique one on either one of our lists. But it's Harry versus Malfoy in the Philosopher's Stone after he steals Neville's Rememberall.
Right. It's not a fight in the traditional sense. That one. That one's
not a traditional fight, but it's definitely a fight. And the reason why it's so high up on my list is because that directly led into Harry becoming the youngest Seeker in a century.
Yep.
Yeah. What's funny is this whole list started because I was reading Philosopher's Stone. Well, I'm still on Philosopher's Stone. I just kind of slacked off. In fact, funny enough, that's the scene I read the other night was the scene where Harry flies for the first time. And it's so, the way to describe it, it's just so exhilarating.
Yeah, and especially because the majority of that book just talks about how Harry's just not very good at doing magic. He gets better, obviously, as over the course of the books, but he always has this what's that called? Imposter syndrome? Because the most famous wizard alive, everyone knows his name. He's got so much baggage behind him that he's just always afraid to fail, and he doesn't do the best job with magic, at least in the first book. But as soon as he gets on a broom, it's natural because of his dad.
It's like he's a savant. It's part of who he is, really.
Yeah, it's blood memory. It's instinct at this point.
Yeah,
and that's why that scene is just so powerful.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of describing it in the book for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that the CGI in that scene in the movie, not exactly holding up, especially Neville falling. It didn't look good 20 years ago.
In 2001 when that movie came out.
Right, but remember, about 8 years prior, they made dinosaurs look real. So,
well, the CGI looked good in the movie, and when it came out.
For me, the scene where Neville, in this particular scene where Neville falls off his broom, he hits all the points on the roof. It looked to me that looked bad. Neville's character design. When I first saw it, I didn't think Neville looked good in that scene from a technical standpoint.
I watched it recently, but to each his own.
Yeah.
But I mean, you hate CGI, so now we all know where that comes from.
I don't hate CGI. I just prefer
I know. It's teasing.
My number three. Harry vs. Malfoy versus Snape vs. Lockhart and Dueling Club and Chamber of Secrets.
Fun scene because it starts the exposure of Lockhart.
Right.
Yeah, because you kind of start to see the whole the true face of the man.
The facade.
Exactly. And great pick of an actor for it too, Kenneth Branagh.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the thing is, another great part about that scene is that was first of all the first time you see a proper wizard duel. But it's also one of those scenes where you really get to have a much better sense of just how sneaky and weaselly Malfoy is.
Right.
And that scene was so good in the movie that kept playing it in the damn trailer. The
Yeah.
ending of that scene,
I don't
anyway.
remember trailers for it, but
I remember seeing the bit where he makes Malfoy do that freaking spin in the trailer.
The line, you're afraid, partner? You wish. Will always be ingrained in my mind because of that damn trailer.
I don't remember that.
and one of the great comebacks in movie history. Scared Potter, you wish.
Yep.
100%. Oh god, that is one of those perfectly cast series.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. So now you're the more toast.
So this is the punt from that I punted earlier. The Ministry of Magic versus fight scene. This is where it is. 50. Where is it for you?
Didn't Ben punted it?
I'm punching
Oh,
it.
no, sorry. That one. It's my. It's still a punt for me.
Okay.
No, wait. This
This
that's
is
your
number
number.
two.
Wait, I'm confused. Which one is this?
This is number 2.
Oh, so it's my number 2. Also, so it's my
Well,
number 2.
Okay.
No. Which fight are you talking about at the ministry?
Oh no, the one you were. The one where the Order of the Phoenix versus.
Okay.
No, for sure. That is the first truly big fight with consequences that these kids are involved in. And this is another one. It's hard for me, like, which one do I prefer, the book or the movie, because they're both great. Hey, Luke.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
Like I said, there's some things I like in the book better than the movie, but it's just the moment Sirius Black dies, especially in the movie, you can see Harry's life essentially end right there because he had so much to look forward to, and it was all gone in a heartbeat. Yeah, just some of the it's filmed so creepily in the movie. It really is.
And for me, what made me really hate Bellatrix.
Right.
In the movie.
You didn't already hate her already.
Right. Which, how can you hate Helena Bonham Carter?
She's Bellatrix Lestrange. That's how.
Yeah. And of course, this ends with the epic confrontation between Voldemort and Dumbledore in the.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, so for me, you can basically just mix and match stuff from both the movies and the books situation, because I loved the.
You're right. It is where the cracks start to form, but it's when Sirius dies and he's got nothing left.
Yeah. Because in that one that you're saying, Luke, he's fighting for his life. That in this fight, he just lost his life essentially. Yeah. But in the Ministry, I loved all the children being chased by different Death Eaters, and the Time Turner's room where I think it was Dollhoff that he had a baby head in a grown man's body.
Which I wish they had put in the movie. That would have been so funny.
I wish and the brains coming out of the fish tank and memory starting to literally cut people to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But here's here's an exception to the rule. I don't like that in the books when Sirius finally shows up, he grabs Harry and he's like, "You gotta take Neville and get out of here." Okay, and they just try to run away. They fail obviously because they fall flat on their faces, both of them, and the prophecy breaks. But I prefer the movie version where it's like, "You gotta get out of here," and Harry's like, "No, I'm staying with you." And so they fight Lucius Malfoy and the other guy together, and we see Sirius doing this with mixed with Expelliarmus, and then he says to Harry, "Nice one, James."
Yeah.
And that's the last thing he ever says to him before Bellatrix kills him. And again, going back to the book, while Harry was trying to get away from everything, it's implied in the book that Sirius just fell through that curtain in the center of the room and didn't come back. And it takes a while for the realization to happen that he's actually dead. In the movie, none of that. Bellatrix Lestrange just shows up out of nowhere, goes Avada Kedavra on her cousin, and then it's dragged into that place. So it's more fine. You realize that he's dead more so in the movie than in
Yeah.
the book.
I think it broke all of us. Really, I
Yeah.
think it did.
And God, how good was Gary Oldman as
yeah.
Sirius Black?
Right? Yeah, I would have loved to have seen more Sirius Black for sure. But yeah, he nailed it. The dude,
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, is a great actor for a reason, folks.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest English actors of all time. Is he like one of the best actors without an Oscar? Or
No,
does
He
have-
has one.
He won a couple years ago for Churchill for that.
Yeah.
Churchill movie.
yeah, I forgot about the Churchill one. Yeah.
All right, Benny, what's your number 2?
What the part from earlier, Harry vs. Voldemort.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, Harry versus Voldemort. This is interesting because I really like the badassness of the movie, but there's something gratifying for me about the way he verbally undresses him in the book. It's just so satisfying because you're seeing this guy who for years was trying to be the most powerful wizard, and he's just being reduced to all these words and saying, "You're nothing, you're a joke, nobody's going to remember you in the end." Like, there's just something about that for me. It's just like, yeah, you go, Harry, you tell him.
And that goes back to what I said earlier about
Amen.
I was going to build up on that. What I said earlier about the stuff you cut out from the book when you're making the movie.
Yeah.
If you do not, that scene in the Great Hall, that's where all the answers to all the questions happen. You don't get that in the movie. You don't get that in any of the movies at all. That's really where the end of all the mysteries. That's why that series is so good. Is because it wraps up in such a neat and tidy way.
Built to
With
that
that-
moment. I just said it built to that moment.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah. Alright, who's next?
Yeah, I will say this though before we go forward. Like when I did first see it in theaters, I was like, it threw me off because I was expecting the verbal undressing in the Great Hall. I will admit, but over time, in the movie, it's pretty darn good too.
I mean, that scene with them fighting 1-1, them fighting that line, it all ends with us, you and me. It's powerful, man.
It's great.
But here's another problem that I have with those movies is that, like Soda was saying, he was expecting that verbal fight in that scene in the movie, and there's that scene where they just stop fighting for a bit when they're on a tall tower. Harry starts to say some of the lines that he says in the book, and then it just completely gets shortchanged, and he's like, "Come on, Tom, let's finish this where we started it together." And then just
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, but he started to do that what we said, and then just it went back to being a rushed movie. That's what I feel. The last two movies just feel really, really rushed to me. That's just a problem I have with those movies in general.
Alright, you honorable mentions time?
Yes, so I have 3. Not my daughter, you bitch. Harry Potter, the Half-Blood Prince is Snape, which is when he reveals himself when he burns down Hagrid's hut at the end of the book. Half-Blood Prince, and the final one is Snake Eyes, which is Harry versus the Basilisk in Chamber of Secrets.
Snake Eyes. Me see what you did there.
Okay, yes.
That's also on my honorable mentions.
What was sorry?
That's also on my honorable mentions.
Nice. What about you, 50?
Okay, so I have 2, and really it's just 2 for the diversity's sake. I've got the fights in the mausoleum in the second Fantastic Beasts movie. Not the best movie, obviously. And also another one from the third one, Dumbledore versus Grindelwald.
I still have to see The Secrets of Grindelwald. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet.
It's not a good movie, but that fight scene is.
Is it better than the second one?
Yes, but not by much.
I'll take it. Okay.
And the last one is exclusive to the video game. It's Dumbledore's army versus the Inquisitorial Squad. I think that's their name.
Yeah. Malfoy and them in the fifth book.
Basically,
Yeah.
in the fifth video game, right after they trick Umbridge into going into the forest and Grubb takes her away, Harry and Hermione are trying to run back to her office, and that's where they find Ron, Ginny, Fred, George, and Neville. I think Fred and George are there in the game, but actually no, I think it's just. For now, let's just go with Ron, Neville, Ginny, and the Weasley twins versus the Malfoy and his goons, and they just join in, and it's becomes a full-on fight between the two competing armies. I love that, and it's exclusive to the games. Not the movies, not in the books.
Nice. All right.
Good selection. Good choice. Okay.
My honorable mention. Man, I moved into Malfoy into a ferret.
I mean that's not really a fight. That's just pest control.
That's
That-
all material.
Yeah, my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Harry first Tom Riddle in Chamber of Secrets.
Mhm.
And probably the most satisfying, Hermione punches Malfoy in Prisoner of Azkaban.
I was considering having it on, but I don't consider it a fight. It's just a
That's why
beatdown.
he had asked me about it. I said that's more an honorable mention because that's more of a moment than a fight.
Yeah.
But still, he's right though. So satisfying. And to hear that their relationship off screen was quite the opposite, Malfoy and Hermione, like they're really, really, really close.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
Still to this day, they all are. So some of them they don't, not as much because like Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint, like they don't use their phones all that much, but they still all keep in touch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even though,
You spend your formative lives making those movies. How can you not?
absolutely.
The whole series is about them going to school together. That's more or less what they did.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, so you're numero uno.
The Battle of Hogwarts.
The book version or the movie version?
The whole fucking thing. Because there are some great moments in both of them.
Because that's
The
also
whole
my
thing.
number one.
Yeah, the whole thing in general. Like I said, because there's great moments. You get the satisfaction of Neville beheading Nagini. You finally get the long-awaited kiss between Ron and Hermione. Unfortunately, you see a lot of Dumbledore's army, Order of the Phoenix pass away. We lose I can never remember which Weasley twin. Fred? The one that died. Which twin was it?
Yeah, I think it was Fred. Yeah, because George got his ear cut off.
Right. Yeah. So it was the opposite one. Yeah. You lose him. You lose Tonks. You lose Lupin. You lose some of the students. You lose the Creevy brothers in the book. They don't show that in the movie. Lavender Brown passes away. I don't remember if they showed that in the movie.
No. She doesn't pass away. She becomes a werewolf.
I thought she passed away in one of them.
No. She was bitten by Greyback.
No, in the movie, doesn't she die in the movie?
Well, in the movie you see her getting
okay,
devoured, but no, she became a werewolf.
Okay, but you do see things like that. You see a lot of loss on both sides. You see the attrition that it causes. You got the great start of it with Hagrid carrying the lifeless body of Harry. It's just my fucking lord. This is one of the best brawl for alls you'll ever see on screen or in book form.
Yeah, and also the spider invasion.
Yeah.
There's the moment when Buckbeak shows up and starts scratching the giant's eyes out.
Yeah.
The house elves show up, led by Creature.
Of course, which is just
So
like
much
that,
content.
180 with that creature.
Yeah. Hold on.
Was not on purpose. I went after it's like, okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll believe you. But yeah, I was also going to bring up earlier in the book, there's that scene where just Professor Trelawney throwing crystal balls at people's heads.
Yep.
There's an army of desks led by McGonagall. There's Percy Jackson joining his brother, Fred Weasley, and fighting the former Minister of Magic, turning him into a giant sea urchin.
Yeah, it's just like, wow. And then let's go.
Hagrid and that's Grawp throwing Hagrid and Fang through the window and they crash into the wall.
Yeah.
And they just pick themselves back up and like nothing ever happened. And obviously the the wall coming crushing down on Fred Weasley, and that's where one of the chapters ends, and the next one begins with Percy Weasley of all people mourning the death of his brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't mention Jackson, and that confused me.
Oh,
Did I say Percy Jackson?
Yeah, you did. I'm like,
there's also
Okay.
Stop
let's not
shooting.
forget
I'm a vegan.
the room of requirement in that big scene. Harry, if we die saving Malfoy, I'm gonna kill you.
I mean, I was just
honestly, that one was more impactful in the book just because we didn't get we were missing Crab? One of the
yeah.
because he had
Ironically, the guy that got recast, the other guy was the one that died.
Yeah. Well, that's why they did that because they lost the other guy, so they had to switch it to somebody we knew. Otherwise, it wouldn't have really done anything. Yeah. So that's my number one, the Battle of Motherfucking Hogwarts.
Right. And that was your number one too, right, in 50?
Yeah.
All right, my number one. Dumbledore versus Voldemort in Order of the Phoenix. They're my number one because before this one, yeah, you have glimpses of how powerful Dumbledore is, but this fight showed you how much of a badass he is. And why Voldemort is why Dumbledore is the one wizard Voldemort is scared of.
And
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure, Ben, that in the books that chapter is called "The Only One He Ever Feared."
And it's a wonderful scene, wonderful effects in the movie. I love this fight. What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm with you. This one is pretty cool to see on film because of the visualness of what they do with their powers. Because this is when you really start to see just how powerful these two are.
Exactly.
And they never once uttered the name of the spells they're using. Because in the Order of the Phoenix video game, you get to play as Dumbledore in that moment, and all the other characters, when you cast a spell, they say the name of the spell. Dumbledore does not. He doesn't need to. He's freaking Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And I love that Voldemort coming in with the flames, Dumbledore catching him with the water, and also in the books they literally transfigure the statues in the Ministry of Magic, and they use the statues as soldiers in their duel. That's why it was on my list. I think it was my number 2 on my list. I love that scene.
I consider it part of the Ministry of Magic scene, so that's why it was in it. So it's technically is part of my number 2 as well.
That's why when Ben said it, I had to clarify if it's a Department of Mystery scene. That's why I wanted to clarify.
I'm sorry I looked them up, but
No, that's perfectly fine.
I did that too, Ben. I did it too.
Yeah, I just included it as one because it's all part of the same act. And all that stuff.
okay.
Like we were talking earlier about how McGonagall fight was like watching Yoda fight. Well, this is like watching the fight against Count Dooku and what's his face, Anakin's on the ground. This reminds me of that scene because again, we're seeing Dumbledore for the first time unleashed.
It was Scar versus Mufasa in that scene.
Yeah. 100%.
And they're in the
Yeah,
we didn't have to draw attention to it. We could have just moved on, but whatever.
Alrighty, so that brings an end to our Wizarding World fights list. Now, 50, it is your turn next week. What is your list?
So as per usual, I'm getting some requests from our fan base here. And this time, her request is top 5 movies with a surprising ending.
Okay. I like that. Okay. I can deal with it.
I like that too. I already know 2 of mine.
I think I already have my number 1, but
We have to maybe we have to call it spoiler alert endings.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay.
that
So All right, so that's our list for next week. The top 5 movies with surprise endings. All right, I like that. All right, 50. Where can everybody find you, my dude?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. I do weekly reviews of Doctor Who episodes from 1963 all the way up to 2022. I recently did a Black Adam review, and you can bet your ass. You can bet your ass. Okay, unexpected ending. Maybe that's a better thing. But like I said, you can bet your ass. I'll be talking about the final episode of Jodie Whittaker's era, which airs tomorrow as of this going live, and I also have my own show on this channel called The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I had this guy on last week, and I'm having this guy on and another friend this week, or rather next week, I should say, to talk about that episode that will be the end of Jodie Whittaker's era. So stay tuned for that.
Right
on. And Ben, how about you?
You guys can find me at my YouTube channel, Multiverse Kingdom. We have a show basically every day right now, and follow me here on the Northern Entertainment Group, right here on Northern Countdown, and Thursday on Rewind the Tape, Minnesota here.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_Saxman. You can find me on all the shows here that these guys have mentioned. You can also find me on Friday nights over on the Let's Get Ready Network, over on the Blokes of Wrestling podcast. All right. So on behalf of the three of us, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Wizarding World fights are. And we will see you next week on the Northern Countdown as we count down the top 5 movies with surprise endings. See you later, folks. Have yourself a good weekend. Stay safe.